So I just got done watching the interview with Dapper Dan on The Breakfast Club, and I must say it's a very good interview. Very good interview, insightful. Um, a few things, and I've read up about Dapper Dan before, but there's a few things in that interview I didn't know about for Dapper Dan. Um, where he came from, where his mother came from. His mother came from the Carolinas, I believe he said, from the South. Um, and I knew he was in the drug game, but I didn't know he was that heavily invested in the drug game in terms of how he made his money in the drug game in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? So that I didn't know about either, and his history with growing up in Harlem, and also his affiliations with other people within the drug game, as well as in the political movement, the political and societal movement for Black society. Him being affiliated with Malcolm X, you know, going to Africa, things of that nature. That was very insightful, right? But I must say this though, you know, like I said in my other video talking about Dapper Dan, where there's a video I did addressing Dapper Dan and how he was called a coon by 50 Cent, and I said 50 Cent is absolutely right that Dapper Dan is a coon by still continually working for a openly racist company, as in Gucci, who doesn't give a damn about Black people. There is no Black owners. There is no executives that are Black in Gucci. The company strictly promotes racism, strictly promotes nepotism. That's how you're supposed to be. Actually, you look at other groups. Like I said, the Native American community, Arabs, the Japanese community, the Jewish community. They practice nepotism. They practice racism to a degree. They want their own people to run their own company. That's what you're supposed to do. They're not going to let Black people sit at the table to make decisions for the company. They're not going to let Black people sit at the table with the percentage of the company. They're not going to do that, right? And Dapper Dan mentioned in the interview that and I think believe Charlamagne the God asked this question about, well, why don't you just start your own company, right? That was the $1 million question. Why don't you just start your own company, Dapper Dan? Dapper Dan, Gucci has been ripping off and using your ideas and your designs for years, right? You're the one that made Gucci hot for Black people. For Gucci in general, you made Gucci hot. You're still working for the brand that, again, is overtly racist towards Black people, right? With the infamous Gucci Gollywag sweater, right? So you consistently want to work with Gucci. You said you met with Gucci and you sat down with the CEO of Gucci, and Gucci's actually is owned by parent company, which is YSL, right? And obviously the CEO and the owner of YSL doesn't give a damn about Dapper Dan, because he didn't meet with him or give him some kind of percentage of the company. Not at all. But what I was gonna say was this. I'm gonna play this clip real quick to illustrate my point in terms of he is 74 years old, and it's great. I would love to be 74, being upright and having that being. He looks great for his age. You know what I'm saying? So I would love to be 74. Look like him health wise, because he looks great for 74. But let me play this clip, family, and come back with my commentary in terms of why he again does not get the process. He does not see the bigger picture. I'll play this clip and come back. Here you go.
1964, Constance Baker Motley. She was the second Black borough president of Manhattan. She did a study in 1964 called Urban Renewal, Negro Removal, talking about the plan. So in 1968, when I got in prep school, I did a study on it to figure out what was going on. At that time, they was just getting ready to build the state building on 125th Street, and I went and got a prototype of that building and put it on the front page of of the 40 Acres of the Mule, where I was a student right before, and I made it look like a Trojan horse to show people in Harlem that gentrification was coming. And that's 53 years ago, and nobody listened. So when I said, man, I can't get nobody to listen, and my gangster friends, my hustler friends, they said, man, you just want somebody to be over there because you're over there. They didn't understand.
Well, what you trying to do, get them to invest in?
I tried to get them to buy the buildings over there.
Yeah.
I paid like $50,000
You
for
said
a
that was one of
brownstone.
the best things you ever did, you and your wife.
How much your brownstone worth now?
$3.5 million to $4 million.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah. 1960.
No, that's good. So in that clip, he illustrated that he was trying to get his friends, his other partners or associates in the drug game or in black society in general, in his community where he grew up. He was trying to get them to invest in property so that we can own and control our own buildings, our own infrastructure, right? Before the dominant white society comes in and do what they do best, which is own and control the narrative, right? He mentioned that he owns a brownstone in Harlem where he paid $50,000. Now it's worth upwards of $4 million. That's ownership. That's great. But apply that to the fashion world, right? He talked about, he's been doing this for 30 plus years in the fashion industry, and starting in your own company, it's not that easy. You have to go through the process of working for somebody else before you start your own. Well, it's been 30 plus years, family. You know what I'm saying? You have guys like Virgil Abloh, the founder of Off-White, who, his designs with Nike, his collaborations with Nike is groundbreaking. I have a few of the Off-White collaborations from Virgil, and the 10 collection with Nike is not only groundbreaking, but is revolutionary in terms of the design and the thought process where it took to come up with those kind of designs from an original shoe. You take an original shoe and you make it your own to the point where it's never been done like that before. That's what made his designs revolutionary. So he did that. He took the popularity of the Off-White collaborations with Nike, and at the time he was able to parallel and continue to work with his own company, Off-White, and make that pop off, which he's doing right now. He's making Off-White a high fashion brand that competes with the likes of Gucci and Louis Vuitton. And speaking of Louis Vuitton, he was able to also land a prominent position in Louis Vuitton, right? He was able to land I believe his title is fashion director for Louis Vuitton. So he's wearing multiple hats. He has his own company, Off-White. He collabs with Nike and has a extremely popular collection with Nike. The resale values of his shoes through the roof for Nike. And he has a prominent position, right, for Louis Vuitton. So if anything, if you want to follow the footsteps of somebody who understands and knows the process and also how to manipulate the fashion industry, is somebody like Virgil Abloh. And I can even say someone like Kanye West as well. Kanye West, who also worked with Nike. Now he's working with Adidas. The recent interview he did with Forbes, which was great. The interviewer was terrible, but in terms of the information they mentioned about Kanye, that Kanye owns 100% of his company. Kanye is going to generate upwards of $1.5 billion this year for a 5-year-old company. You can't say that with Michael Jordan. What was the first 5 years of Michael Jordan? How much did he generate for Nike? And then not only that, does Michael Jordan own 100% of Michael Jordan brand. I mean, he's been with Nike for 30 plus years and still doesn't own 100% of Jordan brand outright. There you go. So Kanye West does. He owns his company 100% outright. He just partners with Adidas because of course they distribute and make the shoes. Same thing with Virgil Abloh. He collaborates with Nike, right? But he owns his company Off-White 100%. And he's able to collaborate with other fashion brands like Louis Vuitton. And even guys like Jerry Lorenzo, who owns another high fashion brand, Fear of God, right? Which I got a couple of jeans of Fear of God from Jerry Lorenzo. He owns his company outright. Of course, all our brothers here are melanated, right? So if anybody if you want to learn anything from the fashion industry, I would say take your cues from Kanye West, take your cues from Jerry Lorenzo, and take your cues from Virgil Abloh. Dapper Dan's been doing this for 30 plus years and is still content on accepting butter biscuits and being a worker. And working for an overt racist company as in Gucci. He's still content and he still doesn't get it. And like I said in my last video, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can't. But I respect his wisdom. I respect his knowledge overall. He's 74, has a lot of information. I know he's coming out with a documentary. He needs a documentary and a movie. I would say he needs a series about his life and a documentary like they did for Wu-Tang. I will watch it for sure. But, being content to work for a white-owned company where they would never let black people sit at the table and make any kind of power moves or decisions, I can't respect that. Everything else about Dapper Dan I can respect, but I just can't respect a guy who would accept abuse, Stockholm Syndrome, right, from Gucci, an overt racist company, right? I can't accept that. So anyway, those are my thoughts about the Dapper Dan interview on the Breakfast Club, family. If you've seen it, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. All right, family. Till next time, make sure you follow me on Instagram at GMOGMediaTV. Till next time, Chauncey signing out. Peace.